Welcome to Understanding Jesus Today. Each week we will take an in-depth Jewish look into the Israelite Mashiach, Jesus, and the accounts of those who followed him. For so long, the meaning of the text has eluded the world, and that is the purpose of this venture, to proclaim the good news which Jesus brought to the earth. So without further delay, here is your host, Yishai Koln.
Shalom, I am your host for Understanding Jesus Today, Yishai Koln. You know, for thousands of years, the desires, the oracles of God, and the plan of Elah have been hidden from the world in the various texts of the Bible. I have longed to bring the text of the Scriptures alive to you so its meaning is no longer hidden before your ears. So let us delve into the text so that we may discern. Through the separation of light from darkness, we may be led to wisdom, and if we carry along our friend wisdom, we may retain understanding. Today, we find Jesus in Matthew's scroll. Jesus' first words in his ministry to the public are heard upon the mountain in Judea. The text indicates the zeraim, or seeds of the brachos, or blessings bestowed upon Yisrael. Here, each blessing is presented as the keys to the sulam, or the ladder of Yaakov, in their blessings for each act of the afflicted soul. These are the most important words of his entire life. They are hidden in mediocrity, but they tell the key of the house of David, the ladder of heaven, the tongue of Elah, and the ability to be born again in the Ruach HaKodesh. The text states, "When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up on the mountain and sat down. His disciples came to him, and he began to teach them, saying,
'Fortunate will be those who are afflicted in their spirit, for theirs is the reign of the heaven. Fortunate will be those who lament their shame of sin, for they will be called near to Elah. Fortunate will be the humble of heart, for they will inherit Ha-Eretz. Fortunate will be those who hunger and thirst for justice, for they will be filled full. Fortunate will be those who forgive those who wrong them, for they will be shown mercy. Fortunate will be the clean in heart, for they will discern God. Fortunate will be those who bring peace, for they will be invited to be heirs of God. Fortunate are those who are persecuted because of justice, for theirs is the reign of heaven. Fortunate are you when people revile you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets before you.'"
In his letter to the Gerim Timethos, Rabbi Shaul spoke of the Goyim, who of the various nations will fail in the latter times. This is bringing the name of Elah to naught or fruitlessness. Paul states, "This know also, that in the furthest days dangerous times shall be at hand. For men will love themselves, fond of silver, boasters, using their breath and power over others to do evil, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, profane, without love, unforgiving, false accusers, incontinent, savages, despisers of those that possess virtue unto purity, betrayers, reckless, proud, without merit, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God, having the appearance of the devotion to holiness, but disavowing the miracle thereof. From such turn away, for of this sort are they which creep into houses, and lead captive silly women laden with sins, led away with divers lusts, ever learning, and never able to come to the discernment of the truth. Now, as Jannes and Jambres withstood Moses, so do these also resist the truth. Men of corrupt minds, reprobate concerning the loyalty of the heart. But they shall proceed no further, for their folly shall be manifest unto all men, as theirs also was." Since the ladder of Yaakov is foundationalized in the brachos of Yeshu, let's speak on the avos, or the fathers, in the loyalty of the heart of Abraham, the purity of Yitzhak, and the justice of Yaakov. Abraham afflicted his soul in leaving Ir and leaving everything behind, and when he reached Canaan, HaKodesh Baruch Hu commanded Abraham to perform a Brit Milah, or circumcision. Abraham was an old man before he was circumcised, and this was done to open the window that one might be older for conversion. And so Abraham's suffering was a direct communion with Elah throughout his life. His loyalty of his heart was pure in his tahara, or purity. He had cleansed his heart of all kamets before Hashem, both by his neshama and ruah, both the physical and the spiritual. In this is why Yeshu opens with speaking of the humble in spirit and the affliction of the soul. Abraham's life will forever be the model for all humanity to measure by, as Pesach and the Aseret HaDibrat, or Passover, and the 10 Commandments start off by first commending loyalty of the heart, or what Christians call faith, which is not an adequate word. Emunah in Hebrew means loyalty, and the second command, or both Pesach and the, as they are called by the nations, 10 Commandments, is to cleanse the heart through the affliction of the soul. These will be delivered. And those mentioned by Paul are those who do not afflict the soul in the attendance to purity. So if you would like to understand Jesus, listen to his first words in teaching Jews. He is set on defining who will enter the reign of the heavens. And as Paul says, it will not be the impure who act and look as though they are holy, but deny the power thereof. And what is the power of godliness? Purity by the affliction of the soul, by the loyalty of the heart. The Torah is a homing beacon, and the Ruach will beseech men to draw together in purity under the headship of Yehudah. The model and archetype have not changed, and neither has God's plan. This is why when you see Christians who claim they are obeying the Torah and who have not submitted themselves to the headship of Yehudah, as the Torah prescribes many times, you know they are impostors with false tongues. The Torah creates peace from the submission of headship to the circumcision. If the wife determines when the husband is the husband by her witness, then she is not the wife. Submission comes with no reservation. You are either submitting yourself to the Yehudim and doing as the Beit bin Hagadol tells you, or you aren't. And if you aren't, you are not keeping the Torah. Period. There are 2 reasons the nations are perishing: the lack of submission in overcoming your brother, the Yehudim, and the lack of Tahara, purity. Yehudah defines the Torah, sin, and the Moed. I am Yishai Koln, and thank you for listening.